Well, it was a big day in Parliament today, and joining me now to discuss it is Shadow Education and Early Learning Minister Jonathon Duniam. Good to see you, Jonathon. Thank you so much for joining me. I want to start firstly, though, with this push to scrap net zero. Look, countries around the world are backing out of it. It's costly already, of course. We can't keep the lights on in this country as it is. But have Barnaby Joyce and Michael McCormack fired the starting gun on a debate that we really do need to have in this country?
Yes, Danica, we do need to have the debate. We need to have a mature adult debate, which is not riddled by ideology and emotion, but one that's based on fact. And the facts are Australia contributes, if you to believe the numbers, just what is it, around 1.3% of global emissions. Net zero, which is to phase that out at any cost is bad policy. So pursuing a reduction in emissions, regardless of the cost, which is this government's policy, I think is bad. Wanting to do better when it comes to environmental outcomes, wanting to have a smaller impact on the environment is not a bad thing. But when you pursue this ideological goal, which is what Labor is doing and other countries, as you say, are backing out, I think is bad policy.
Well, I mean, what is this going to mean now for the coalition? Because I know Susan Lee is big on, we're listening, we're going to undertake a party room discussion about this. She's not making the captain calls. But if you've got the Nats pushing for net zero to be dropped, you've got moderates within the Liberals saying, no, we need to continue with it. Is there a risk of another split here? I mean, should the Liberals and Nationals not be able to come to a position? Is it a good time to come together and actually make some bold policy for Australia's energy future?
Well, you know, that could be just what happens here. And if there is anything to be taken out of the last election result, that drubbing we got, then that is that people do want bold answers and solutions to the problems that they're facing. And so I think we will have a robust conversation. We will have an adult and mature conversation. We'll deal with the facts and the science around this issue and take into account that very important factor which seems to be absolutely absent when you talk to Labor and the Greens, and that is what pursuit of net zero without any consideration for the economic impact is. You will see us balance that out. So we'll have that conversation. We will have an outcome. We will have an energy policy which is one that I think will be very attractive to Australians. And it's not going to be one that's driven by ideology, but one that will be driven by facts and science. And as I say, net zero at any cost is bad policy.
I totally agree with you, and I think there are many Aussies out there that do agree with you, but the problem is people within your party, and that's the big issue here, Jonathon. And you know, are you really that convinced that you're going to be able to come to an agreement, especially with the moderates?
Well, we have to, Danica. I mean, there will always be different views in our party room. There were before the election, there were before the election before that, and generally speaking, we do arrive at a consistent position. It's not always the right one, as elections often bear out, but I am convinced we will be able to land a good policy. I believe the right one. I'll certainly be pushing for a balanced and reasonable Australia First policy when it comes to this sort of area. And I honestly believe, as a bunch of adults who've suffered the defeat we have, I really think we are going to be able to get our skates on and come up with some good policy here.
All right, we certainly hope so, because we can't keep the lights on as it is in this country, so there needs to be a really, really good discussion.